Hello, my name is Jan Watts. I am the president of the League of Women Voters of the Flint area. And with partners, Communities First Incorporated and the Flint Beat, we share a purpose to engage, empower, and educate local voters. We are happy to bring you a virtual community forum today to help you decide which candidate for Genesee County Commissioner in your district will get your vote. The Board of Commissioners makes important decisions about how your tax dollars are spent, so knowing about your candidate is important. All candidates for these offices were contacted. Some candidates may not be participating for a variety of reasons. We hope that you will listen carefully to those who have and check vote411.org to see if there was a written response from the others. All were informed that they would need to comply with certain rules, such as refraining from comments on other persons and only taking this opportunity to tell voters about their own qualifications, their priorities, and their outlook. All candidates are asked the same questions and all have the same time to answer. Thank you, and we look forward to an informative discussion. And I get to repeat the rules. You'll have 2 minutes for each question. You will be given a 30-second warning, 10-second warning by a timekeeper, and then a time's up to finish your thought. So we'd like to start out with having you have a couple of minutes for opening remarks, telling us a little bit about you and welcoming you, and then we'll proceed with the hard questions.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I hope they're not too hard. It's still early enough in the morning not to be that hard. Caffeine hasn't kicked in yet. So my name is Sean Shoemaker. I am currently the County Commissioner for the 6th District, which encompasses Fenton Township, City of Fenton, City of Linden, Gaines Township, and Argentine Township. I've been blessed to serve as the commissioner here for the last 6 years. Before that, I served on Fenton Township's board as a trustee for 6 years there. My wife and I are raising our 3 children here in Fenton Township. She's been in the area all of her life. I've been in Genesee County all my life. My family's had a small business here for going on right around 80 years. I'm very proud of our community. I'm very blessed to serve the 6th District. I fought hard to make sure we bring the resources back to the 6th District it deserves. And I'm hoping that people will believe in what I've done and see what I've done. And if you drive around, you can see all the infrastructure projects that are underway that we've helped contribute with our local municipalities and see that I deserve another opportunity for another term. So thank you.
Perfect. So our first question is sort of building on the intro. Just describe your qualifications and experience for this office and explain your reasons for running. And in particular, how would you be an asset in this office?
Okay, so background is to take the voters way back. My father, Rod Shoemaker, had been involved in politics since I was 6 years old, and I'm in my 50s now. So if that gives you an idea, it was quite a while. He was a supervisor in several spots throughout the county. And truthfully, that made me not want to get into politics. I did not want to be around it. And there came a point in time where I saw some things going on within my own township that I didn't like. And my wife reminded me that to be a good example to my boys, we don't just complain, we actually go do something. So we went out and we ran for trustee. We'd won. We worked really hard there. I think it's one of the things that makes me qualified. One of the things we won to get under control was our long-term legacy debt, make sure we were 100% funded in Fenton Township before I left, which when I did, we were. So we didn't have any long-term debt as far as healthcare costs or anything else like that hanging out there. What qualifies me for the county board is the same thing I believe that is the reason I'm still there is one, serving in Fenton Township. I was blessed enough to be placed on Southern Lakes Parks and Rec, which put me in contact with the city of Fenton and the city of Linden, and made more contacts with Argentine Township. So I had these contacts, these relationships with local leaders to get things done. And I think that's why we've got so much done as far as infrastructure projects that we've been working on. What was the last portion of your question? I apologize. There was a little more to that, and I'm
Yeah, just particularly how you'd be an asset in this role.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the biggest asset is when you look at it, when it came to distribution of ARPA dollars for infrastructure projects, the 6th district got the largest amount. So, and out of 9 commissioners, that's something to be proud of. That guess what, my district received those funds, and we continue to grow out here and make it the great place it is to live.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll hand it over to Jan for the next question. And Jan, you got to unmute if you'd like.
Okay, am I good now? I don't know how I unmuted.
Yeah, you're great.
Anyway,
Perfect.
Mr. Shoemaker, many residents don't understand county government. How would you explain the primary responsibilities and services, and what will be your strategy for effectively communicating that with constituents?
That's a great question. Well, the primary thing, most people, like you said, don't understand what a county commissioner does. One, we oversee general fund or general revenue and distribute those. And we have some main responsibilities. One, we have to keep an operational jail. We have to keep a prosecutor's office and the courts opened up. Those are statutory responsibilities. In addition to that, though, you are right. We do have responsibility to be as transparent and help our residents understand what we're doing, where we're doing it. And I think at the county level, even the current board I serve with has done a wonderful job. We've expanded our access to our website, making it easier. We're working on broadband right now throughout the county. We're doing a study as we sit here now to see if we can help contribute to that. There are grants out there to try to make sure we make information accessible to everyone throughout the county so no one is left behind. And we will continue to push for that. And if I'm reelected, we will continue on that path so we can make sure that no one in the county doesn't have those basic services they need, because you wouldn't think years ago when I graduated high school or was even in college, you would need internet access to function basically as a student or someone trying to get information, or a senior even. And now, unfortunately, it's a necessity. So we'll continue to work on that. Like I said, we've actually expanded our footprint as far as social media, as far as the way we put information out there, what we've done at meetings. So I think we've done a good job. Can we continue to improve? There's always room for improvement, and we will always look to do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So our next question is that commissioners are elected from separate districts, but are responsible for decisions that affect the entire county. In what ways do priorities of your district's constituents differ with countywide issues, and in what ways do they overlap? And when those priorities differ, what's your process for making decisions?
Ooh, okay, that's a big question. We're gonna have to go that piece by piece. The first, my district differs than other districts. Well, if you guys have been around county politics long enough, you understand that the out county, and what I mean by the out county, not the city of Flint and basically Flint Township anymore, feel like they do not get their fair share of resources and tax revenue, tax base. That's one of the things I ran on and I think we've contributed to, but there are certain millages that unfortunately we as county commissioners are basically just a pass-through for, because the way the millage was set up is we do not oversee that millage. We collect the funds down at the county and the funds are dispersed from there. Now, we may get a position on one of their boards to sit on, but we really don't have a lot of say. So there's a lot of frustration with that throughout our communities, even in mine, that those dollars aren't being shared fairly. Now, what was the next question on that portion? Because you had
three. Just sort of, then where your constituents' priorities overlap, and then how you make decisions, when you have to deal with countywide issues versus district issues.
Well, where I think they overlap is we all want a better Genesee County. I think most of the residents want a place that, guess what, we can be proud of. We came from a point years ago where we were, we had 80,000 auto worker jobs. I mean, our county was extremely blessed and a very wealthy place and fantastic place to live. And we've seen the decline of that for quite a while. So I think that's something we all have in common, that we all want what's better. Now, do we agree on how we're going to get there? No, not always. And some of those, you can see on fun YouTube videos of us disagreeing on that. But I think that the truth is we are all right now, the board that's down there, focused on growing Genesee County. We've lost population. We've lost population over the last couple censuses. And now the goal is to how do we get people to live in Genesee County? And I think we've come up with a plan for that, which was what we call creating a sense of place, something that people can grab onto and hold onto that is Genesee County.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Does the county board have a responsibility to develop relationships, not only with other public entities, such as local cities or villages or whatever, but also universities, libraries, schools? And in what ways does that currently happen? And do you think that there are better ways to develop those relationships?
To the first portion of your question, it's real simple. Yes, we do have that responsibility. And how do we go about that? Well, first we have to get 5 commissioners to agree that we want to head a certain direction. And I think we've taken steps to do that down there. We've expanded our administration department a little bit to add some employees that actually help us do that, help us reach out to those groups to bring them in. We also are much more focused, especially this last board we have, on building those community relationships with those local groups and leaders. What could we do better to expand upon that? One is, to grow government, you need revenue, because guess what? You need to hire more employees to do those things. Unfortunately, in our situation here at Genesee County, we've got a lot of long-term legacy costs left over that we have to deal with, but we've prioritized that and put these people in place. And I think we've seen that growth that we want to see in those areas as far as dealing with those organizations and groups. And I think we'll continue to, no matter what board comes on, because I think it's a priority of a large enough group at the board that's going to stay.
Okay. Then in closing, is there anything else you would like your voters to know in your district about your candidacy?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to tell you, to say this. There's a lot said during these things, and there's a lot done. I just put it back on my record, the fact that I promised I would fight for my district. I promised I would make sure they got the resources they deserve. I promised that they were heard. I also promised that their values would also be heard. And I think I've done that, and I think I've represented my district in that way. And I also want to state to the voters that experience does matter. The experience, we wouldn't have had these infrastructure projects that have taken place, these millions and millions of dollars put into our community that they didn't have to come up with out of their taxes. They wasn't put on their taxes. Okay, these were projects we took from American Rescue Plan dollars. That, yes, they are taxes levied down from the federal level, but they weren't local taxes for water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure, any of these other projects. So their taxes did not go up. And I am against raising taxes, especially right now in the state of the economy, and I always will be. And if it ever comes to that choice, they should know that I will put it to a vote of the people, and it will not be up to me whether they choose to have their taxes raised or not. That's up to them. And I will continually work hard, because I live here and I'm very proud to live in this district, and I will fight like it's just my hometown. So that's all I have to say, but thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks to everybody watching. As a reminder, Election Day is November 5th, 2024. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can vote by absentee ballot currently, or you can vote early in person for at least 9 days before Election Day. If you'd like to know more about your voting options, head to michigan.gov/vote and exercise your right to vote and be a part of your community. Thanks for joining us.